Okay. All right. And you mentioned the call box. Is that what it's called, the call box?
Yes.
Okay. Are those only used for like emergencies, or can they be used to get rides or to get
They
keys?
shouldn't be used for rides, but if your keys are locked in a car, if you need a jump start, if you need police summoned, that's acceptable. They're really there for emergencies. I ask that they not be tied up for frivolous things, but if you we'd rather if you feel uncomfortable that you need police, then yes, use it. And they are available for police requests. But since they work with radio, once you push the button, instead of working like a telephone, when you push the button, it ties up all of them. So you don't want to tie up the phones while one's being used.
Okay. And now, is it true that you're supposed to be able to see one at any area on campus?
That's been our goal.
That's the goal, yeah. And
Okay.
that's a lot of what the safety walks do, is we do look for that. And I know when I'm on campus in the evening, I always look around me to see if I do see one, and if I don't, then I'll let campus police know that we might need another one. But they really strive to put as many in as possible so that you can have one in your line of sight from wherever you're standing on campus.
We have more than 110 call boxes on this campus currently.
Okay. So is there any area on campus that y'all are working to change right now that's spooky, or?
I think the improvements along Chancellor's Walk has been substantial that we've seen. Some of the vegetative material has been removed from between Dobo Hall and Reynolds Drive. There's been additional call boxes that have been in place. We realize that's a major pedestrian artery through campus, and that's been changed a lot. They've really beefed up the security measures there.
Okay.
And I think with all the new construction, we're always looking to see what the new construction will bring in terms of safety hazards. So, such as the parking deck, we want to make sure that's safe as well.
Okay. And back to weather, do you think that UNCW works like outside the departments to maintain safety?
We do. We work very much with our partners that are outside the university. For example, New Hanover County Emergency Management and the National Weather Service, State Emergency Management, and a lot of our first responders, our fire departments that are outside of the campus, and our sheriff department and police departments. We work very extensively with them. They are part of our drills and exercises whenever we have them, and they look at all of our plans, and they're very familiar with us. And the key is that when we come to an emergency and we're responding, we don't meet them for the first time. So we're all on first name basis. We know all of each other, and that makes response to emergencies very seamless because we know each other, we're familiar with our plans, and vice versa.
Hi, and welcome back. If you're just joining us, I'm Kat Newton, and I'm here with Stan Hartz and Suzanne Blake when we're talking about the UNCW safety. So here we have what we thought would be a good idea as an emergency kit. So we wanted to bring you guys in and see what you thought, what we had, what we didn't have, and what you thought is like what we definitely need to have in our kit. So I guess we'll just start off with the first aid Band-Aids. Is that something?
It's always a good idea to have some first aid materials in your kit. Probably just more of the basics, because if anything major happens, you're going to need extra help. But of course, it's good to have the Band-Aids. Also, what you want to make sure is to have any prescription medications along with refills. And if you have any medications that need to be refrigerated, you're going to have to take that into account and bring a cooler or something else with you. But definitely have those prescription medications if you need them, because that seems to be a problem in disasters. Diabetics will run out of their insulin or things like that. So that's very important.
Okay. And so we also have some Tylenol and some ibuprofen. Is that something we would need to have?
Just general painkillers and so the Band-Aid and the basic first aid items. Some personal hygiene products would be nice to have.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Basically the toothbrush, the bottled water you've got here, but any personal hygiene items definitely need to be included in the kit.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then you see we have a flashlight. Is that something we would need to have, or would?
That's definitely a good idea, and I see you have extra batteries too, and that's a good idea as well. You want to have plenty of batteries for your flashlight, and there's a lot of different options for alternative lighting. They have the little lanterns now. You can have glow sticks; those help as well.
Okay.
But definitely, yeah, have some sort of alternative lighting, not candles that you light, because those are dangerous. But we do want you to have a flashlight or something along those lines.
Okay. So talking about candles, this is a candle that is allowed in the dorms and apartments. But is this something that we would need to have in an emergency kit?
It's probably not going to provide enough light or anything, and it's the same issue we have with the glow sticks. The glow sticks are great for marking a location, and you can see things, but nothing replaces the flashlight for going down the hallway and having to move from room to room in the middle of the night. This is not going to provide enough light to read by or to do anything. It's great. It's much better than what we see with all the candles and the tea lights in the residence halls rooms with the risk of fire. But this gives the ambiance for day-to-day use. It gives a little puff of smoke, and it has an odor to it, and it appears to flicker like a candle, and it's all battery operated.
Okay, so I know y'all have a lot of issues with what lamps and candles and what incense and what is and not allowed. So what is allowed in the dorm rooms and what's not allowed?
Okay, it's easier with, actually the list is relatively small as what's not allowed. You cannot have extension cords with multiple things plugged into it. You cannot have incense or candles, any sort of open flame, any sort of hazardous materials, fireworks, gasoline. I'm amazed every year with how innovative a new student is every year with the different things they bring in, but no fireworks, gasoline, kerosene, or anything like that. No pets other than goldfish. And basically that is it. We try to limit the candles for the risk of fire. We have some great buildings with some fire protection systems in them with fire detection and protection systems, but we really don't like to see the candles. That's our greatest thing that we try to reduce out there.
Okay, and what happens if you do have a candle that is not allowed?
The candle is normally taken the first time by the RC with residence life staff, and it's returned to you. And depending on the severity, if you've been warned before, or if there's one candle or 50 candles, it can be a fining offense of $25 per item.
Okay, wow.
So we've seen as many as 12 to 14 candles in one room.
Oh, and so it's each candle is $25.
Right.
It's possible, yeah.
Oh my. Okay, so then here we have some canned food. Is that something we would need, or
yeah,
is it necessary?
with food and water, those are definitely essential for an emergency kit. On campus for the resident students, we will usually provide that in an emergency, but if you're on your own or you're traveling, you do want to have food. And I like these because they have the flip tops. If you don't have something like this, you want to make sure and bring a can opener or something like that. I also know that a lot of people don't necessarily love canned goods, but there's a lot of options out there that are non-perishable foods that they have now, things like granola bars and dried fruit and things that aren't necessarily perishable that can last a long time. So you don't have to only stick with your noodles in a can. You know, you can branch out and have other things. With the food and water, you want to have enough to last for at least 3 days. Water, you want to have at least 3 liters per person per day, and that's enough for personal hygiene uses as well as drinking uses. So you definitely want to make sure with the water, and if you're traveling with anyone that's depending on you, you want to have water and food for them as well. And that also brings up if you have pets that you're traveling with, you need to bring their food and their canned food, something to feed them in, water for them, any medications that they're on as well.
Okay. Do you have anything else to add for the on-campus? Is there anything we're missing, or something that you really don't think is necessary?
One of the things that's hard to depict here. Well, one thing that we do need to depict is there needs to be utensils with this. You need to have the handy wipes or the towelettes, the moist towelettes to clean up with for sanitation. You need to have utensils to eat with, and finally. One of those things that's hard to depict is making your communication plans, communicating with your relatives and your loved ones, where you are, who you're staying with. A big part, since most of the time we evacuate campus, we get the students go to another location to communicate to mom, dad, whoever your loved ones are, that, hey, I'm going to stay with someone else and here's their phone contact and address, that I'm going to stay here, it's in Raleigh, or wherever you're going, to pass that information along.
Okay. She shoots for the net and go.
Down by 1 with only seconds to go. I'm taking it to the hoop.
You're not getting by me.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. It's good.
Dorm room sports not doing it for you? Want to be more like Mia Hamm or LeBron James? Then check out UNCW's list of great intramural and club sports. They have a great selection of sports including soccer, basketball, ultimate frisbee, and so many more. For more information on UNCW's intramural sports, stop by their main office at the Student Recreation Center here on campus, or browse their website at uncw.edu/campusrecreation. There you can check on upcoming events, as well as who is winning your current league. Now, what do you have to say about that?
Mia Hamm who?
Now we're ready.
Then just get out there and do it.